So we're going to move on to our last segment of the podcast, and this one's basically Peyton Manning. What is Peyton Manning's legacy after the Super Bowl?
Fortunately, he won. If he lost, there would be such a different conversation. Peyton Manning, is he the greatest of all time? I'm not 100% sure I can say yes, but I'm not 100% sure I can say no. I got to see the end of Tom Brady's career before I'm able to say that.
Do you think he comes back?
Here's the thing, Ricky. All he's got to do.
Because so far he's saying, you know what? I'm going to take my time to think about it.
I'm just thinking about a lot of beer right
Budweiser,
now. Yeah. They showed it. They had an infograph on there that was like, all the records he's got. First in this, first in that, first in that. There's one thing he was tied for first in. That was regular season wins. All he's got to do is come back for one game and win it. And he's got that record too. Now, he'll lose it, like 5 games later when Tom Brady takes it from him. But at least he'll have held it. He'll have had it for a little bit of time. Do I think he comes back? No, he's done. I don't even
the Rams
want to
want
pretend.
him.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of teams want to have Peyton Manning, but a lot of teams are also saying, hey, Peyton, when you're ready to coach, you come talk to us. We'll make you quarterbacks coach.
You want to know something that is very interesting? That this is about the Super Bowl that I just looked up. Gil Brandt tweeted this. Most watched Super Bowls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. Out of the top 7. Carolina, Denver is in the top 7. Where do you think it falls?
Third.
It was third. 111.9 million. It was 0.6 ahead of New York versus New England. I don't know which one. But it was behind the last two. Last year's was the most watched Super Bowl.
Yeah.
With 114.4 million. I saw that and I just thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty crazy. I just don't think Peyton Manning has anything left to give. He won and he's going to ride off in the sunset. I think he knows his body can't do it again. Peyton Manning is lucky beyond belief that he got pulled. Brock Osweiler managed with that defense to keep everything going nice and strong. He kept the seat warm, and Peyton Manning was able to somehow weasel his way back onto the starting roster. When they call, like everyone likes to say, they called in the relief pitcher, the old wily veteran out there, who happens to be one of the greatest of all time. And he was able to come right back in at the perfect time when his body was healed enough to do it. And just get to the very end, basically. But, I mean, we don't need to go through all of his stats, but Peyton Manning, we want to talk Cam Newton was bad in the Super Bowl. Peyton Manning was fucking terrible in the Super Bowl.
It was great? In my mom, her squares, they did a prop.
Oh, I was so close in the squares. So close in the squares.
I had terrible numbers. I had 4 for the Panthers, 2 for the Broncos. I knew I was screwed.
I needed Cam Newton to not throw that fucking interception, and I could have gotten those squares.
It was great? I put one of the questions was, does Peyton have more touchdowns or interceptions? I said interceptions, and I was right because he had 1 INT, no touchdowns.
Yeah. I don't want to criticize Peyton Manning too much because he did enough. He didn't lose the game. He did enough.
The best thing he did was he came out determined.
Yeah.
And he got them on the board first. And he said, you know what?
He said, this time I'm not going to let this ball go past my face.
He said, you know what? I'm coming out here and I'm giving it all I got. And he had nothing at the end. At the end. The only reason why they scored that touchdown, like we said, was because they got the fumble and the penalty.
Yeah. And there was, I forget what this QBR was, but his QBR was terrible. And I don't want to criticize Peyton Manning too much. I mean, the team, we knew that this team was defense. We knew that was going to be I picked the Denver Broncos to win, and I said the only way they do it is that they just let Peyton Manning hang around. Fortunately, they didn't even really need to let him hang around. They just won the game themselves, essentially. But the thing for Peyton, there's nothing else for him to give. There's really nothing else for him to do.
To me, he's not, let's be honest, he's not coming back. He's retiring. But if he comes back, I feel like he'll only come back to troll Tom Brady. And the reason why I say that is Gil Brandt last night tweeted out, Tom Brady, 196, needs 5 more wins to pass Peyton at 200 for most all time. So Peyton could come back just to say, "Hey Tom, you ain't getting it yet. I'm gonna keep pace with you."
Not if he goes to the Rams.
Could win at least 5. But Tom Brady will win more than 5. Tom Brady's winning at least 10 next year. Let's be honest.
I just think the reason why I will not be willing to say Peyton Manning will not be playing are.
I think he's retiring. I think he's got to. Why not right off on
the
top?
one thing I'll say he's
Strahan,
not willing.
Bennis,
I can't
Elway.
say he will not be participating in football next year. Is the way I want to word it, because I think there's a good chance he might coach somewhere, somehow. I don't necessarily think he does it next year, but
can you imagine if they're like the Giants go, quarterback coach, get out of here.
Yeah.
Peyton, coach your brother.
Well, you know who needs a new coach is the Patriots. Just saying, they could use a new offensive coach.
Tom Brady. Hey, Dad's coming home, Tom.
Yeah,
Daddy's coming home.
It's just somebody asked about can we expect to see Peyton Manning on NFL or on ESPN? Can we see him on SportsCenter? Can we see him doing one of these things? Can we see him breaking down quarterback film like John Gruden? I don't think that satisfies the competitive nature of Peyton Manning. Now, there's a lot of competitive guys out there doing anchoring, stuff like that. So maybe he'll be just fine, but this man is a genius. He breaks down film. He reads defenses like nobody else. He knows exactly what's going to happen and what to expect and how to counter it. There's no reason in my mind you don't put him up in the box and let him talk to that offensive coordinator and to the quarterback downstairs.
I just read something about Peyton Manning that kind of made me upset because
what's that?
I hope this team doesn't do it, but I'm looking at an article on ESPN that is our 2016 NFL crystal ball. So they're trying to predict stuff for next year. And number 5 on this list, Peyton Manning becomes the face of the new Tennessee Titans ownership group.
Interesting.
So he becomes an owner of the Titans. They convince him because he went to University of Tennessee.
He was a volunteer.
I originally thought, I'll be honest, when I first read that, I looked over ownership group, and I immediately thought they meant quarterback. Now that it's his ownership group, I'm not that mad.
Well,
I could see him trying to be.
I don't see him doing being an owner. John Elway,
football operations guy,
a
GM front office kind of guy. Maybe
you know better, Ricky.
Maybe
because you are the college football guy in the room. I don't pay that much attention until it's relevant to the NFL. Tennessee was bad last year, right? They weren't good.
They weren't great. They made a bowl game. Could
they use former star quarterback of the Tennessee Volunteers to come out there and help them out?
I mean, no. I don't think he goes back and coaches.
I don't see why he couldn't coach.
Well,
he is a coach. If he's a player coach. He made all the decisions himself out there. The only coach who ever tried to make any decisions was Gary Kubiak. Gary Kubiak said, "You get under the center. You do it now."
No, I'm saying I don't see why he goes back to coach Tennessee, because right now, are you talking head coach or any coach?
No, just give me a spot. Give me a spot on that offense.
Because their head coach...
Quarterback coach, something.
You know what? Fun fact, I find out that me and Butch Jones, the head coach at Tennessee, share a birthday.
Nice.
But... yeah, I mean, they're...
yeah, I wasn't going to say head... You don't just go straight to head coach.
Tennessee's on the up and up. I mean, in Jones's first... this is his third season that just passed. 5-7, 6-7, 9-4. So
not terrible.
They're getting better. They started 6th in the SEC East. They finished tied for 2nd this year. Like I said, not too bad.
If anybody's going to give Peyton Manning a spot as their quarterback coach or something... or even if it's just some bullshit assistant position they make up because they want him up in the booth watching defenses. Peyton Manning's the guy, and Tennessee's got such a good connection.
I just hope, and I was talking with this to Sean Anderson on my way home from our Super Bowl gathering. I hope Peyton doesn't go to L.A. because the way I described it was Brett Favre coming back for that one last season. Brett Favre should have gotten in. After he got injured in the Bounty Gate conference championship, should have just hung him up. Said, you know what? I'm hanging him up. Shouldn't have came back for that last season. And the first thing Sean said was, oh, and he wanted Peyton to lose because he's a Tom Brady guy. But he goes, man, I hope that happens because he's like, you know what? The Bears always play the Rams. And if we play them in the Coliseum, which is a college stadium, much like the Vikings did when we injured Brett Favre, he's like, oh, man, that would be great. Just to see one of the linebackers just standing over, ending. Like, I'm like, no, don't come back. Just retire right off into the sunset, John Elway it.
Yeah. That's what he should do. Hopefully he does.
I mean, Dungy...
There's nothing left to do.
Dungy apparently called him Saturday and said, whatever happens, take time to think about the decision and make sure you're at peace with it.
I really was hoping that he won, and in his press conference, he just said, that's it. I'm done. He just said, I knew I was going to retire. I just didn't want to take away from the spotlight of the team or something like that, and just goes, now I can say I'm done. I really want him to do it then because he has to know that he's done. He has to know he doesn't have anything left. Maybe he wants to go talk to a doctor and say, you think this old arm's got something? And the doctor just laughs in his face and says, shut up, noodle arm.
Well, his mom, apparently, I can't remember which press, newspaper, online source it was, but Olivia Manning came out and said, God, I hope he retires.
Everyone wants him to retire. There's probably not a single person out there who really is saying, man, I really wish Peyton Manning would just come back for one more.
Because apparently Peyton has said he hasn't talked to his wife about it, his dad about it, which the funny thing...
I think it's bullshit. He has totally
Doug Gottlieb brought this up today, too, was Archie came out and said, like, but I'm not going to meddle in that because I don't meddle in things. And Doug goes, oh, really? You don't?
No, Archie would never meddle.
Why did Eli not go to San Diego? Hey, Eli, do you want to go to San Diego? Eli looks at Archie, looks back, no.
No, please no. Oh, equal Manning.
But that is going to do it for our a little bit longer than usual onside kick. We finally hit over an hour. I believe both the onside kick and the Primetime Podcast hit over an hour. No, the Primetime Podcast was close. I just looked at it. But that's going to do it for the onside kick. You can follow me on Twitter at Ricky Widmer. Mark is at the...
I do want to say one thing really quick because I see it right now as we're recording. The report... I don't know where it's coming from. I just see it on Facebook trending news. It's coming from CBS. Okay. Archie Manning says that he believes his son is done in Denver.
Okay.
Not necessarily done with football, done in Denver.
And your thing makes me think of something we didn't mention. You know who did steal the spotlight away from Peyton last night for retirement?
Eli.
Marshawn.
Eli did.
Marshawn, the way
with his sad face.
Marshawn, the way he retired on Twitter. Yeah. But that's going to do it for the onside kick. Like I said, I'm at Ricky Widmer. Mark's at the Mark Weber with 2 E's. Most Valuable Pod is our Most Valuable Podcast is at Most Valuable Pod. If you're on SoundCloud, hit that nice little gray heart. I don't know why they're not red. On SoundCloud, hit the repost button that kind of looks like retweet. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you're new, hit the like button. If you're new or old, thank you guys yet again for checking out this podcast. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
Thank you for listening to this MVP podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Most Valuable Pod for more great podcasts.